So another week and time for me to do another Smackdown review. Me, Mr. Parkin, on behalf of the British Fist. If you have any comments on this show, or indeed what happened on Raw this Monday, which is a tribute to the Ultimate Warrior, please let me know down in the comment section below. So in the main event of Raw this week, we had Triple H, Randy Orton and Batista all aligning once again for the first time in 10 years to reform Evolution. The only thing missing there was Ric Flair. That would make the Evolution reuniting more awesome than what it actually is. And it looks like they're actually going to be facing off with the Shield at Extreme Rules. You know, this is damn good. You know when Batista, Triple H and Randy Orton are facing someone, they're going to get featured in a prime time slot. And you know, what better, faction than the Shield to go up against Evolution? You know, this should be a damn good match at Extreme Rules, and it should get some damn good build with the characters involved. I really hope that at some point down the line, especially with what was happening in this opening promo segment on Smackdown, I really do hope they eventually build to a Triple H Roman Reigns feud. Maybe that'll stem off this feud and go into SummerSlam with that. You know, we opened up this week's edition of Smackdown with Triple H kind of putting over the Shield, saying they were some of the best talents he's seen come into the WWE in quite some time, but saying at the end of the day, they got out of line, and that is exactly why Evolution is going to teach them a lesson at Extreme Rules. You know, I don't know why Big E Langston couldn't beat Del Rio clean. I don't know why they had to get Del Rio disqualified and have to, have Big E Langston win that way. Yes, I know he ended the segment by giving him the big ending, etc. But why couldn't he have just won clean? I mean, quite frankly, lately Big E Langston really hasn't been winning all that much, which for an IC champion isn't exactly good. You know, you had him as a smoz of 29 other people in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. You had him job to Brad on the Raw after WrestleMania. You're not really doing too much with him now because you're very busy concentrating on the Intercontinental Championship tournament they've done, which was a nice homage to Ultimate Warrior, I felt, on Raw. And, while making the IC title a feature part of Raw, and, I thought it was going to be Smackdown, but it looks like they're going to be doing this tournament on Raw. But I don't understand why Big E Langston couldn't win clean here against Del Rio. Del Rio's not really going anywhere. So at a time when he really needs some clean wins, he doesn't get it. I don't really understand that, especially when you're trying to build him up to face the person who's going to win the IC Championship tournament, who's essentially going to have won 3 matches to actually get the shot at Big E Langston. I just didn't understand why they didn't just have Big E Langston win clean in even, a somewhat competitive match. As for this IC Championship tournament, like I said, at least it makes the title, the IC Championship, feel like a feature part of Raw. I mean, you've got Van Dam versus Cesaro in the semi-final for next week, and Sheamus versus Barrett in the semi-finals, which are going to happen next week on Raw. So you've got, Van Dam, Sheamus, Barrett, Cesaro. You've got 4 quite big names there going after, Big E Langston's, or Big E's, sorry, IC Championship. So that is a pretty good thing, in my opinion. Will it bring back, prestige to the IC title belt? Probably not, but at least it's something to get the IC Championship featured on TV. My client, Brock Lesnar, conquered the streak. My client, Brock Lesnar, conquered the streak. My client, I'll say this one more time, my client, Brock Lesnar, conquered the streak. Now, if I was Paul Heyman and my client had conquered the streak, I would definitely be out there on every single Raw, SmackDown, main event, NXT Superstars. I wouldn't give a shit. Saturday morning fucking slam, if that still exists. I'd be on every single show spouting the fact that my client Brock Lesnar had conquered the longest streak in sports entertainment history, and quite frankly, the best and most memorable streak in sports entertainment history. Yeah, damn right I'd be doing what Paul Heyman did. The segment that Paul Heyman had where pretty much all he did was spout my client, Brock Lesnar, ended the streak. It may have seemed a little bit pointless, but it makes a whole load of sense from a logical standpoint. And don't you tell me you would not be doing what Paul Heyman is doing right now if your client, Brock Lesnar, hadn't conquered the streak. So on this week's edition of Smackdown, we had Paige, the new Divas champion, facing off with Aksana. It's important, with Paige being a new character to the WWE roster, it's important that they give Paige clean wins on a consistent basis and showcase to the more casual audiences exactly what she's about. You know, the hardcore fans and the NXT fans, you know, such as myself, will know exactly what Paige is about. But a lot of people that watch Raw and SmackDown don't watch NXT. You know, even though it's on the WWE Network, they probably just don't really know what NXT is. So it's important that they showcase her as best they can. And the thing that she does best is wrestle and kick Divas' ass. That's the thing she does best. Now, she's got a clean win over Alicia Fox. She's got a clean win over Aksana on SmackDown. She seems like she's getting good reactions on the show. I wish the commentators would sell that damn good submission finisher a little bit better. But hey, so far so good with Paige. Wrestling ability is not an issue for Paige. It's promos and stuff and acting that will need work over time. But I doubt she'll be doing that in the Divas division anyway, because since when do they ever have promos or anything like that? You know, maybe down the line they will, but right now she probably won't be doing too much of that. Might as well play to Paige's strengths. Also, Tamina Snuka, or Tamina as she's known, won a #1 contendership, I believe it was a Battle Royal or Gauntlet Battle Royal on main event for the Divas Championship. So it looks like she'll be going after the Divas Championship at Extreme Rules. You know, AJ Lee apparently wanted some time off, which is why they haven't done the rematch yet. That's probably a match they'll save for SummerSlam or something. You know, now we've showcased Paige in a way. You know, Tamina's now the #1 contender. Now let's get these two girls interacting and get some heat in the feud going into Extreme Rules so we get a interesting Divas match, please. And oh my god, I just spent 2 minutes talking about a Divas segment. Whew. So I think it's fair to say that we got something just a little bit different in our main event on this week's edition of SmackDown. Now, I know a lot of fans probably didn't enjoy this segment, probably didn't think this segment was very good at all. But variety is the spice of life sometimes, and sometimes it's just good to see something different in professional wrestling, even if that means seeing two small midget guys go at it in the ring. I thought this was really entertaining. You know, you had Hornswoggle, who's the 3MB mascot, versus El Torifo, who's the Los Matadores mascot. And to be honest with you, what I was saying, why the fuck not? Like I say, it's something different. It was entertaining. It was damn more interesting than seeing 3MB and Los Matadores face off in a tag team match. Do you think that would have ever made the hour main event on SmackDown? You're damn fucking right it wouldn't. So just for the fact that this was entertaining, I'll give this segment a thumbs up and definite deserving of the hour main event on this week's edition of SmackDown. What else was you going to put in there? You may as well put something just a little bit different that, you know, fans can probably kind of dig. You know, you had El Torifo win here, and it kind of looks like they may even continue this damn feud. Oh, fucking for it. And I thought it was also funny that after this match, you had Bad News Barrett coming out and telling the fans that the fact that they applauded this match shows how small their brains are. I thought that was quite funny. Overall, a very entertaining hour main event on SmackDown. Probably one of the more entertaining segments I've been entertained by on SmackDown in recent memory. So on this week's edition of SmackDown, we had Alexander Rusev versus R-Truth, which actually stemmed off something that happened on Raw, where, you know, you had Alexander Rusev pretty much beating Xavier Woods in a match and then, you know, pretty much kicking R-Truth's ass on Raw. And, you know, it pretty much happened the same way this time, only the other way around. This time it was Alexander Rusev defeating R-Truth clean, and then he pretty much just kicked Xavier Woods' ass at the end of the match. So they're making this guy look very strong. They're establishing the connection between him and Lana, which is the fact that whatever Lana says, Alexander Rusev pretty much does. Another man in this world being controlled by a woman. What a surprise there. Or at least that kind of ties into a lot of things that happen in real life. Guys, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm saying. So far, so good for the Alexander Rusev character, in my opinion. So I'd just like to take some time out of this review to really say what a fitting tribute I think WWE did to the Ultimate Warrior and his career on Raw. You know, I didn't actually watch Raw this week. I was doing other things, but I did see the video package they did, and, you know, some of the things they did throughout the night for the Ultimate Warrior. The video package they did I thought was very fitting, almost kind of brought a tear to Mr. Parkin's eye. And the way they celebrated Ultimate Warrior's career, you know, with the IC Championship tournament and the, you know, tolling the bell 10 times and having everyone out there on the ramp to celebrate and commend Ultimate Warrior's career. I just thought the way they did that on Raw was very good, and I just really wanted to take some time out of this review to really, you know, just extend that thought. You want a prime example as to how to not do feuds and how to not make them interesting? Well, all you got to do is look at the feud between Fandango and Santino. All they're doing is having match after match after match. You know, Fandango versus Santino. Fandango and Layla versus Santino and Emma. That's pretty much all they're doing. Match, 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 match after match. And these feuds, I'm sorry, just aren't interesting at all, even if the characters in there are entertaining. So I saw a couple of people moaning on Twitter about the fact that Daniel Bryan wasn't on Monday Night Raw this week. And all I've got to say to those fans are, come on, give the guy a damn break. You know for a fact that Daniel Bryan is married now to Brie Bella, and they've just got married and they're trying to enjoy their honeymoon. Hence why Daniel Bryan wasn't on Raw this week. So for a minute, please just stop being fans and start being people, and just, accept the fact that these people, even wrestlers, have to enjoy moments such as marriage and honeymoons, etc. Just saying. And also, just because one character isn't on the show, it doesn't necessarily mean that, you can judge the show as bad. You had Evolution returning on the show. Was that not good enough for you? Well, clearly, actually, it wasn't good enough really for the crowd at Raw, because they barely reacted to the segment that involved the reformation of Evolution. So on to more pressing matters with regards to the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. It looks like from the segment they did between Stephanie McMahon and Kane on Raw that they're bringing back the Monster Kane to face Daniel Bryan at Extreme Rules. It hasn't been officially announced or anything yet, but it seems like that's the direction they're going to be going with the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, having Daniel Bryan face Kane at Extreme Rules. And you know what? On the one hand, this does make a lot of sense from a storyline standpoint. Daniel Bryan has been going against the Authority for quite some time now. Kane and Daniel Bryan, of course, have history with Team Hell No. They faced off with each other before. From that standpoint, it does make sense. But also, I'm sat here thinking to myself, do I really want to see Kane versus Daniel Bryan again, especially when Daniel Bryan has won so many times? And not just that. Is this the kind of match I would expect to follow up a big win for Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30? It really isn't. This kind of feels like one of those matches that is going to kind of mid-card the show, like CM Punk's title reign did, a couple of years ago now. So even though the storyline does make sense from a storyline standpoint, I'm not really all for Kane going up against Daniel Bryan, even though, the Monster Kane will be a very formidable opponent for a Daniel Bryan, because the Corporate Kane gimmick really, really wasn't working at all. I still have very mixed feelings with regards to the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match being Kane versus Daniel Bryan. It just kind of feels like Daniel Bryan has gone from like WrestleMania 30 main event to now being kind of like feeling like a mid-card champion. It's just for one pay-per-view. I mean, you look at the Shield facing Triple H, Randy Orton and Batista. That feels more like an Extreme Rules main event, in my opinion, than Kane versus Daniel Bryan, which is really a shame, because you'd think they want to capitalize on Daniel Bryan's momentum coming out of WrestleMania 30 and prove to the WWE fans they're trying to create a new star, a new main event star. But are they going to do that with Daniel Bryan? He's kind of left wondering, will they now? So in the main event of Smackdown this week, we had Sheamus versus Batista. Now, there was a little bit of history and a little bit of heat going into this match. Last time you had these two guys face off, they used it as an opportunity for Batista to bring out the animal and pretty much wipe out Sheamus ringside. So there was a pretty good reason for Sheamus actually wanting to get some revenge for what the heel Batista had done to him. That's how you put heat on the heels, WWE. And all I can really say about this match is that it was a pretty good main event. I mean, there was no real storyline here, no real character development here. It was just a good main event match between two big guys in the WWE. It's the kind of match I would like to see at a pay-per-view down the line, to be honest, especially if Batista is going to be here full-time for at least 2 years. I'd like for, at some point, Batista to be putting over superstars. He's already done it to Daniel Bryan. There's no reason why down the line that he can't put over his fellow Breakfast Club buddy, Sheamus, in some way or form. So, like I said, this was a very good main event match. It just felt very inconsequential compared to some of the other things that have happened in WWE this week. So, it was just a main event match. That's really all I can say about it, to be honest. So, the WWE's direction going into Extreme Rules seems rather interesting, to say the least. I mean, we have Shield versus Evolution, which should be a damn good match, wherever it is on the card. Bryan versus Kane, I have my doubts about. Cena versus Bray Wyatt are going to have a cage match at Extreme Rules, even though Cena won at WrestleMania for some ungodly reason. You know, we've breathed some new life in the Divas division. We're bringing Paige in there, and she's going to be facing Tamina. And also, you've got this Intercontinental Championship tournament that's going on, which will, at least for a little period of time, help raise the profile of the belt just a tad, with the fact that it's going to be featured on TV a couple of times every Raw. So the direction going into Extreme Rules, with the exception of Daniel Bryan versus Kane, is pretty good right now. As for this week's edition of SmackDown, I thought it was pretty solid. You know, I enjoyed the hour main event between Hornswoggle and Del Torifo. I enjoyed, seeing the Divas for the first time in quite some time, simply because Paige was in there. And I thought the main event was pretty good. And I think they did a good job in establishing some of the newer characters on this show, such as Alexander Rusev, etc. So if you have any comments on this week's edition of SmackDown, please let me know down in the comment section below. Also, any thoughts on what happened on Raw, let me know down in the comment section below as well. I'll be here same time next week for another SmackDown review. Thank you very much for watching. And if you haven't checked it out already, I did an NXT review yesterday. You know, all the talents you're seeing, like Adam Rose, Bo Dallas, Alexander Rusev, Paige, etc. They're all on NXT as well. And that is the show to watch, in my opinion. See you later.